Mark, a full week's training, how's it gone?
I think, like I always say, the proof will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock when the whistle goes. We maybe questioned the players' desire a little bit. First time this season after Saturday. I think the opposition ran harder than us and fought harder than us, and that's the one thing the opposition can't stop you doing, is running and competing. And if you don't do those two things in abundance, impossible to win a game of football. So that's the one thing we've had to sort out this week and make sure we get a team that is prepared to run and compete.
And is that a little bit back to basics, if you will?
Yeah, of course. As basics are key to and are fundamental to any performance. If you don't win your individual battles, or if you don't run harder than the opposition, longer, faster, if you don't fight for every scrap or every second ball, don't matter whether you play long ball or short ball or whatever you want to call it, you can't win a game of football, and we didn't do that last week.
Is that a good sign that you haven't had to do that before this season until you've got into March, or is that just a disappointment that you have to do it at all ever?
Of course, but I think sometimes complacency can creep in, and sometimes we think we've just got to turn up and to win a game. But against Lincoln, if you don't fight and scrap, you're not getting anything, even though we could have easily got something out of the game. But the players have been left in no uncertain terms, not in a bad way, but in a very constructive way, that we have to compete and run. And if we don't do that, we can't win.
And how much does that make you think about selection options as well?
Always thinking about selection options, and everybody's had a chance in the squad, and everybody's had a run of games. But it's now trying to pick a team that can start putting some points on the board to make sure we finish in the top 7.
How much is it more complicated or more complex than just not scoring enough goals at the moment?
Well, that's right, isn't it? It's, if you don't score and you concede, then it's a recipe for disaster. So something we've got to put right, and I'm sure the boys are ready for tomorrow, and we'll put on a really aggressive performance.
Because Morecambe in a position with everything to play for.
Of course, they did miraculously well to stay up on the last day of the season last year, getting a point at Coventry, and they're well above the drop zone again. So they'll be pleased with where they are, and they've got some threats. But it's about what we do. We've got to go and play. We've got to go and be aggressive and play well.
I know it's part of being a professional, but how much of getting a result there is not about the journey beating you before you even step onto the field?
No, we can't use. Not lucky. We don't want any excuses. It's a long way. So what? Morecambe had a long journey, came here and beat us earlier in the season. So there's no excuses tomorrow. It's roll your sleeves up, get your head down and go and perform.
And although the first team might not have been scoring enough goals of late, the reserves certainly have been. So how much does that just sort of mean that there is competition for places?
Well, they didn't on Tuesday. They only scored 2 and got beat by a young Southend team. So there's always competition for places, and players are always playing themselves out or in with a team. It's very rarely a manager that leaves a player out of the team. It's the player himself, by his performances or lack of them.
Liam Shepherd, you were hoping would be available for Lincoln. I think he failed a fitness test in the end. How's he this week?
He's all right. He's trained the last couple of days, training today, and we'll see how he is. Bearing in mind we have another game on Tuesday as well.